All right,
Hey,
all
Coach.
right. On in. Hey, how's everybody doing?
Good morning, Coach.
Good morning, good morning. Good day, good day. All right. Well, we have a
Good
lot.
morning.
Good morning, good morning. We have a lot to cover today. So I want to jump into it and then I'll have Q&A at the end, okay? All right. Y'all remember the grants calendar governs everything, and we may have some new people here. If you're new, like this is your first time, go ahead and write in the comment section that you're new, so that folks can welcome you. We normally check. Lord, is that? Oh, okay, all right. Uh, we normally have a different format where we talk and catch up and ask questions, everything in the beginning, and welcome new people. But we do have a deadline. For you all that are applying for the Truist Grant, the deadline is this week. I don't know if it's Wednesday or Thursday, but the deadline is coming up. So we're going to go over that. And for those others that are not doing the Truist Grant, um, we need to tell you what you need to be doing right now. All right. So the grants calendar governs everything that happens in the grants world. The grants calendar was developed over my 20 years experience, and so I know I've cracked the code on when certain grants come out, when they're available. And during the month of July, you're supposed to have your board meeting. I think Keisha's having her board meeting tonight. Keisha, are you here? I don't know if she was able to make it today, but we checked in and went over her board agenda. Everything looks good. I made some edits to it and sent it back to you, but her board meeting is tonight. If you have not had your board meeting for your nonprofit this year, you want to go ahead and have it. All right. And go ahead and have it. It can be very simple. It can be as elaborate as you want, but it needs to include the date, the time, attendance. You need to vote on the budget and vote on your programs. If you have invested money, it is a loan. Either you gave it to the nonprofit and you need credit for it as a gift where you can claim it on your taxes, or you loaned it to the nonprofit and you want your money back. If you have loaned it to the nonprofit and you want your money back, you're going to need that statement to be inside of the board minutes. Okay. If it is an investment, if it's a donation, then you're going to need a thank you letter from the nonprofit that you can then give to your tax professional, and then they'll know how to do your deductions. Keisha, did you get my feedback about your board agenda?
Hi, no, I didn't. I just got off a call and I jumped on this one. No, but I'll pull it up now.
Okay. I wrote it down, but I can tell you real quick, and you can go back where you wrote investment. Don't use
Mhm.
the word investment. Use loan. If you intend for them to give your money back, it needs to clearly say loan. Investment
Okay.
and two different things. All right.
Hmm.
And then in your agenda, you said we applied for 4 grants, and then later on you say that you are going to apply for another 4 grants.
Hmm.
Anytime that you're naming grants in your minutes, go
Hmm.
ahead and name them. Don't just say
Okay.
four that we've applied for this, and include the amounts.
Okay.
And
Okay.
amounts. Other than that, oh, and in your attendance, make sure you put who was there and who was absent. So there should be members present and members absent. Okay.
Okay. Awesome.
All right.
Thank
But
you.
other than that, it looked really good. Really good. I'm proud.
Okay. Thank you.
All right.
Are
All
you
right.
coming?
Am I?
I mean, yeah.
What time is it? I teach a Bible class at 6. What time is your meeting?
Oh, I'm on Central Time, so it's 7 Central. So I think, oh, that no, so that's 8 your time.
7
So
Central.
if you're
Oh, yeah.
free,
Send me the link.
okay,
Send, I'll show up. I'll be glad to meet everybody.
I appreciate that.
All right, no
Okay.
problem.
All right. Thank
Uh-huh.
you.
All right. So for the grants calendar, everybody should have had your board meeting during the month of July. Now during the month of August, and this grants calendar is how you can know what's coming up before it happens. All right. During the month of August, you want to email your community and economic development offices. For some cities, it's the same office. For some cities, it's a community development office and separately an economic development office. You want to email them. All right. email them and ask them about their upcoming grants. Even if the ones that are larger have grants available right now, the ones that are not as large will have grants coming up in the future. All right. So if you're in Atlanta, to grants and community development in Atlanta. Yeah, they all have their contact person. You want to email them, find out what their grants are. There's going to be a lot of information. I'm going to show you all an example. All right. Can you all see my screen?
Yes.
All right. So this is the city of Atlanta. This is their grants and community development office. You see their information, blah, blah, blah. All right. So here, the contact us, this is a real phone number. These are real people. These are their real addresses. You can call them. I always call and email. Whenever I call, I leave a voicemail and says, "Hi, this is Jay Hackett. I'm the board president of Black Wall Street. Was calling to ask about your upcoming grant program. I'll follow up with an email. Please call me back at," and then I leave my number. All right. Um, and then I actually do follow up with an email and I say the exact same thing. Hi, this is Jay Hackett. I'm the founder of and board chair of Black Wall Street. Um, we were calling about your grants program. I'll follow up with a voicemail. Do y'all see what I said? Said email and voicemail, so they know that I'm on both of them. All right.
Yes,
And
sir.
anytime that they have a mailing list, definitely click the mailing list. I pull up Atlanta because this is an example of a big city, and here NOFA, Notice of Funding Announcement. This is their home application. The home application is if you are building houses or renovating houses for affordable living. All right, whether you're building them to sell them, whether you're building them to rent them, this portal reopened on July 15th. So that's uh that's where you want to go and read the information. Click the link below to view our home notice of funding available news page and for more information. Here, public questioning submitted for 25-26 con plan. That's when you want to know the information about what resources are there. You click on that. Request for proposals. The city is looking for consultants. So if you wanted to do business with the city as a consultant, you can click there. All right. Now, as a nerd and as a researcher, and part of my job and the reason that people pay me is because I read through the details of all this so that you all don't have to read through all the details. Um, but what you want to do is make sure that you are aware of the funding. So if you don't want to read through all of this, at the very least, email these people and ask them about the grant programs. Click on the mailing list so that you can know about what's coming up. All right. Now, when you're in a smaller city, let's do Columbus, Georgia. All right. So this is the community foundation. We're not looking at the community foundation right now. Let's look at this is their grant program. And I think this expired. These are small business recovery grants. Most ARPA funds are already spent. And so I don't know why this is still up there. They have 53 million available and they had to spend it in these specific ways. But let's look at community development. All right. Here's their CDBG, their grant program. This is how much money they have available. All right, how to apply. Now, again, with all of these departments, you can always email them directly and ask them about their grants. Okay. You just email them and say, hello, this is such and such. Can you tell me about your grant program? All right. Give me one more city that's not in Georgia, a small city.
Belleville.
Belleville,
Mm-hmm.
Belleville, is
Illinois.
that Illinois?
Mm-hmm.
All right. This is their CDBG grant. Uh, some and the beneficiary, this does not pertain to you, this pertains to your clients. The beneficiary of the CDBG grant has to be a low income person. All right, so funding is exhausted for 2024, but you go down, you contact the person, and you ask them about the funding for the upcoming year.
Okay.
All right.
Yep. Thank you.
All right. Okay. So everybody, go to type in the name of your city or your county and the letter CDBG. All right, the name of your city or your county and the letters CDBG. I want to make sure that you can identify your person. Now, there are people that try to apply for grants without doing this first step. I'm telling you, this is the game changer. Sometimes I get a little concerned. I'm like, are people be trying to skip steps and and still want the same outcome? If you skip steps, you're not going to get the same outcome. When you want grants and when you want contracts, the thing, whether you want to do business with a city or a town or government, or you want grants for that city, town, or government, it doesn't matter. This is the first step. This is what you need to do that's going to set you apart from everybody else. It's something very simple, something very easy, something I say over and over, but people still don't do it. What you need to do, go to the contact person and email that contact person and say, hello, my name is such and such from blah, blah agency. I am interested in your, if it's grants program, the grants, I'm interested in your contract for such and such, say that. Um, and then ask them, I have a few questions. May I speak with you? Always do that. Sometimes they're not going to respond. If they're in government, they're always going to respond because it's their job. They will eventually respond. It's their job. All right. But you need to email that contact person. The reason why you need to email that contact person is because they have influence over it. The other reason is because they have knowledge of it. And then sometimes the questions that are on the application, they look like they're asking for one thing, but the contact person can tell you, well, when we ask about that, we don't mean such and such, we really mean blah, blah, blah. And sometimes I've had to tell the agency, well, why don't you just say that? And then like, I don't know. Um, there's this grant that we're applying for, the Z Smith Reynolds grant. And um, the name of the grant is State Level System Change Grant. And I do not have a state level program. And when we emailed and asked if we could speak to the person, they said, well, when we say state level system change, we do not mean that you have to be serving the whole state. What we mean is, do you have a system that can be duplicated in other parts of the state? I'm like, well, why didn't you say that? Oh no. So um, ask the questions. You can ask questions like, do you all fund this type of thing? What types of certifications do I need to have? Is there anything that I need before the deadline? You can ask them, when you ask this question, what type of information do you mean? And if it is government, if it's city government, county government, or federal government, or state government, you can always ask them, can I have a copy of the grant that was awarded last year? All right. You can always ask them that. Okay. All right. So everybody, I want to make sure that all of you and y'all, I guess I can be a control freak. I just really want y'all to, I really want y'all to make it and make progress. Does anybody have any trouble finding their city's community development office? Has anybody had any trouble finding your city's community development office?
Hey, Coach. So would the same thing apply just for the city, but also for at the county level as well? Do they have their own, or is it just focus at the city?
They both they each have a budget and they each have grants. So your city has the Office of Community Development. Your county also has one. The county names are the county's names can be more creative. Um, but the city's departments are always called community development and economic development. Sometimes they're community economic, sometimes they're separate. But the city has it and the county has it, and you need to contact both of them.
Thank you, sir.
Coach, good afternoon. This is Alice Marie. I had my hand raised. May I
Uh-huh.
ask a question?
Yes.
So, and thank you so much for the Atlanta information.
Mhm.
The surrounding counties, if
Mhm.
we are serving those or able to serve those as well, we should do the greater city of Atlanta and do the surrounding counties, the smaller counties around as well.
Some of the you should search all of them. Search each of them, I should say. So Fulton County Community Development, um, DeKalb County Community Development, um,
Okay, got
each
it.
one of the cities, because some of the cities are so small that they depend on the county. And some of them are large enough to stand on their own. And that's normal for metros like Atlanta and Houston. Um, so if you're in a city and there are smaller cities around there and you serve all of those cities, you can search for all of them and email all of them.
Got
It
it.
doesn't
Thank you
cost
so
you any
much.
money to email. All right.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right.
So
Next.
if they're not straightforward about the grant part, like they're just saying, here's our cultural development group, but they're not saying anything about grants, then what do? You could just start, is that when you reach out to someone?
You want to reach
Right.
out to more than one person. So you see on that website, there were like 5 names. I emailed all of them.
Okay. And just ask them, like you said, about grants, even if they're not talking about it on their website.
Correct.
Hmm.
Correct.
Okay.
They all have it. All of the community departments have it. This is the way that cities are structured. The federal government receives tax money, and then each year they budget it out in order to solve community problems. This is how everything goes. This is how I'm able to find grants in cities that I've never seen. I don't even know how to spell them. I don't know where they are because I understand how governments work. So the federal government collects taxes from everybody. Those taxes create a federal budget. And each year, the federal government allocates that budget to the communities around the country. And they do that in the form of community development block grants or CDBG. So that CDBG goes back to that city based upon the problems that the city told the federal government it has. So if the city said we have a homeless problem and we have a housing problem and we have a senior problem, then the federal government is going to allocate a budget to them based upon the problems that they said they have. That budget might be 53 million, it might be $2 billion, whatever that budget is. And the city allocates that money in the form of community development grants. and that comes through the community development office of the city. When it comes to county funds, they do it a little differently. They receive money from multitude of different places, including taxes, from the city taxes, property taxes, blah, blah, blah. And they give that money back. They also receive some allocations from the government. So when you're pulling up this list of people in the community development office, email all of them. You can actually put all of them in one email and email them and say, "Good afternoon, my name is such and such. Um, I was calling to ask some questions about your grants program. Is there anybody I can talk to for about 5 minutes?" All right. Other questions?
Hey, Coach, it's Janae.
Uh-huh.
For when I understood the part where we're emailing all of the PLCs, do we call each one also, or just pick one?
I would not call all of them. I would just call one of them.
Okay.
But I would email all of them.
Okay, thank you.
Now, is that Shelly?
No, it's Janae.
Oh, Janae. Okay. All right. Is Shelly here? I told Shelly to do something. I don't know if she did it.
I can hear you now. I'm sorry. I'm on phone on my phone.
Yeah, Shelly, have you reached out to the Community Foundation?
I didn't reach out to them. I did go on the website for the grant they have. I think the application is due this month, but I have not reached out to them.
See, y'all? See? And she's normally the star pupil. Reach out to them. It might take them a minute to get back to you. It might take them a day or so to get back to you, but at least email them. Ask them, just email, say, "Hi, my name is Shelly Gates with the Gateway Program. I have some questions about your human services grant. Is there anybody I can talk to for about 5 minutes?"
Okay, I will do that before
right.
next Tuesday.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
All right,
Thank you.
thank you. All right.
Mhm. All right. Y'all, I really care about, like, there are some people that just teach for the fun of teaching. They just throw out information for the sake of information. But I really want y'all to try this stuff out. And I know it can be, like sometimes you might get nervous, might second guess, might feel like, I might not have the right words, might not feel ready. But if you just get the ball rolling, you're going to meet so many nice people that are really interested in being helpful, and they have money to give away. And these are good connections to have. All right. So reach out and get that conversation started. Anybody else? I can't read all these comments, but anybody else have trouble finding your community development office for your city? All right. Okay. So when you talk to them, you want to ask them about their grants program, pay close attention to the deadlines and the requirements. Okay. The next thing, so that's the month of August. During the month of September, the oh yeah, yeah. During the month of September, you want to be ready for local grants. These are grants that come from your local civic organizations. So like YMCA, the Chamber of Commerce, Rotary Club, 4-H, Kiwanis Club, your electric company, all those places. You want to type their names in and get on their mailing list. You want to reach out about their grants programs as well. Sometimes grants are available and you don't know it. They're relatively small, maybe 5,000 or 10,000, but you want to know what's available and what's coming up, okay? And you are preparing yourself for October, which is the end of the banking quarter. So banks that have leftover money in their budget, they're going to give that away. And then you want to be ready for Giving Tuesday, all right? So which brings it to our topic for today. Partnerships can become donors. Partners become donors. Partners become sponsors. All right. You want to connect with as many local businesses as you can, as many of them as you can. Yes, you can connect with individuals. You look in the back of you pull up your local United Way. Look in the back of their annual report, both United Way, American Red Cross, and Salvation Army. Look in the back of their annual report and see all of the donors Some of those donors are companies. Some of those donors are individuals. All right. That's your local United Way, Salvation Army, and American Red Cross. Look in the back of their annual report. It will list their donors, and sometimes it'll even tell you how much those donors give. Some donors are individuals. Some donors are companies. If a company gives them money, then that company gives out money. All right. So you want to list those companies. You want to go on Google and type the name of that company on the word grants. If it's individuals, you can research those individuals. A lot of donors are listed in the phone book. They are listed online. You can find them on Facebook, and you want to befriend them. Now, this is the same as in the business world. This is how you take a cold audience and you warm up the audience. But in the nonprofit world, this is called donor research. This is the work of a grants office or the development office or the development assistant, where they do research on the donors. You want to find out what their birthday is, find out what their interests are. Do they like indoors or outdoors or hiking or art or whatever it is? And just, you don't have to ask them for money in the beginning. Do not ask them for money. You want to just befriend them, get them to start seeing things about your nonprofit, get them to start seeing things about the work that you do. All right. Later on, you're going to ask them for money. Now, your goal is that by Giving Tuesday, you want 1,000 new people or organizations on your list. Now, how are you going to get those 1,000? By, of course, new people that you meet online, but also the annual report of the United Way, the American Red Cross, and the Salvation Army. I named those because those are the largest nonprofits in our country, and typically they're the largest in your city or your county. So you look them up. They're large, they're reputable, and the people who give to them are givers. Okay. Now, you do want to make sure that you have your registrations done, as I described in the Grant Ready Nonprofit course. There are 10 registrations. I list them in the course. I also list them in the book. I'm not going to list them here, but the most important one is Guide Star. That is the most important. It's going to give you a certain star transparency, and that lets donors know that they can trust your organization. Even if you have zeros, even if you have zero budget, zero staff, zero everything, fill in those zeros and get your Guide Star. All right. If you start now with recruiting partners and volunteers, then whenever Giving Tuesday gets here in November, you are going to be ready. You're going to be ready to charge. You're going to be ready to send them a link and let them charge their card to make a donation. Okay. All right. Okay. And so the last thing that I wanted to go over before I start reviewing the Truist grant is this week I'm going to be in Wilmington, North Carolina on Friday. If anybody is local to the area, it'll be great to see you. I'll be teaching at 2:30. It's a church conference going on after nighttime, but they have classes during the day. One of my friends is the executive director of one of the largest foundations in the country. Their endowment is huge. And she's going to be with me. So some funding sources are going to be there. And I'm going to be debuting one of my new books. I've been researching people to find out, of all the things that I know about, what do people need most. And for this audience, I'm going to be releasing the book called The Funded Church, because I'm just sick and tired of people, and pastors are sick and tired as well of the church being like an offering plate pimp. They know that they were not called to just raise money. And at the same time, they need money to do their outreach. So there are churches that are doing great outreach, but they're doing it with tithes and offering, and they shouldn't have to. So I remember one time I went to it was an afternoon singing. I really like choirs. And so I went to an afternoon singing thing, and it was great. And then they did the offering. That was fine. And I don't remember what amount I gave, but I normally give relatively large amounts, larger than average. 'Cause I make a little bit more than average. So I give, and I'm glad to give. But after they did the offering, I'm like, yeah, let's get back to the singing. And then they said, well, can you all just share a little bit more? So I was like, fine, okay. It was kind of weird, you know what I mean? Um, and then they started to explain this out. Well, we're really raising this money so we can send the young people to the youth convention. And we have a goal in mind. If everybody could just give about $2 more, I think we can reach our goal. Y'all, I I got angry and sad, partially because I was like, let's get back to the singing. But then I'm like, man, here's a church full of people that mean well and have good hearts. And here they are auctioning off the kids during offering time. Like, I'm like, this is crazy. Like, I know this is not how like God wants things done. So I got somebody that went to that church knew me. And so I called them over. I said, well, listen, how much do they need? Just tell me how much they need and I'll pay it. And so he went over and said to the pastor, said, well, Dr. Hackett said, how much do they need? I'll pay it. And now I'm trying to be discreet. The pastor's going to say in the microphone, is he serious? I said, "Well," I was like, well, and so I just nodded my head. He said, well, we need about $500. And if we could, if $1,000 would help us feed everybody. And so I just gave the $1,000. Now I don't know how they expect to get to 1,000 with $2. And I'm hoping they didn't inflate the price because I said I would give it. But the point is that like when you're trying to do good and when you're trying to like serve people and do good by people and help the less fortunate and you know sponsor folks to do things that are important to them, you shouldn't have to struggle financially to do that. Like there is enough money out there in the world that people who are trying to help folks shouldn't have to only do it out of their pocket. So I was able to help them, but and who'd have thought years later I was able to help that church access grant funds so that now some of their outreach programs can be covered. But I wrote a book called The Funded Church, and I'll be making that available to them. So any of you that are in the Wilmington area, Wilmington, North Carolina, not Wilmington, Delaware, Wilmington, North Carolina, be glad to see you there. All right. All right. Yes.
Is the book available on Amazon? Or like
Not,
how can we get?
not yet, but it will be.
Okay. Okay.
It will be. I'll be what do you call it? Posting the link on Friday.
Awesome.
I'll be posting
Exciting.
Friday. Yep. Just ways that churches can make money to cover their outreach budget. All right. Next, those of you that are applying for the Truist Grant, there's a set, we've already gone through the questions, and if we wrote the grant for you, then all the questions are answered. There's one section of the grant that asks about sustainability and asks about the other grants that you've gone after. In this section, especially if you have PowerPoints, this is where you list all of the grants that you are applying for. All right, all the grants that you're applying for. I'm gonna see if I can pull up the example so that you can see what I mean. And then after I show you all this, I want you to prepare your questions. All right, here, funding sources. List the top 10 major funding sources by individual, corporation, or foundation. Name an amount for the project specified in this grant request. So when you do this, you see they have 3 lines, but they say the top 10. What they want you to do is add. So you go here and you insert a row. All right. of our grants. If you have list all the grants that are in your Power Page, list all of them. $10,000. Either it's committed, you're planning to apply, or request submitted. If you're planning to apply, all right. If it is submitted, put that. If it is committed, then put that. All right, your donations. If people have pledged, then you put that amount and put committed. All right, sponsorships, the same thing. But you're going to have to add lines. All right, Keisha, for example, when I read through her board agenda, I saw that they had donations from about 4 different places. So if she were applying for this, then she would add these lines and put those different dollar amounts in here and under donations. All right. Now, when they ask for the name, okay, Wells Fargo, $10,000 planning to apply. Okay. All right. So all the other questions in the application are answered for you. All the other questions are answered for you. But that part, I noticed a lot of people needed some instructions. Okay. All right. So let me do a recap. And then I want to hear any of your questions, any of your progress, anything that you wanted to share. Number one, if you have not had your board meeting yet, make sure you go ahead and do your board meeting. Number two, contact your community economic development office. While you're at it, you can also contact your community foundation. There's nothing stopping you from contacting them and asking right now, can you tell me about your grants program? All right. Number three, we are right now going into the month of August. You want to start building your list for Giving Tuesday. Giving Tuesday will be the Tuesday after Thanksgiving. Giving Tuesday is when people who give to nonprofits are encouraged all around the world. They are encouraged to give. So you want to start building up your list. Your goal is to build up a list of 1,000 new people. You can buy a list of businesses if you want. You can, like go and get like from Fiverr, you can purchase a list of businesses. You could do that. But the best way that I found for you to be able to connect with givers is to look up the annual report of the American Red Cross, the Salvation Army, and the United Way. Turn to the very back of the book and look at the list of donors. Research all of their donors and all of the organizations that gave to them. You want to befriend those people now so that when by the time November comes, that they will give to you and they'll give unrestricted funds as donations. Okay? That's what you want to do. You want to do it now. All right. And then, of course, we went over the Truist grant. I want to make sure that y'all have those pieces before you apply. Make sure that you put all of the other grants that you have applied for, that you plan to apply for. That's going to help them see that you're not only asking them for money, you're also asking from other sources. Okay. All right. Now, let's open up. Anybody have any questions or any progress that you wanted to share?
Good afternoon, Coach. This is Alice Marie. Would just like to share some progress. I am having my board meeting tomorrow at 7 p.m. and I have made it to the second round for the Speedway grant. So we are working on that.
How much is that?
We'll have I think it's 10,000.
Okay.
And then the it starts with a D. It's the second one. It was the 50,000. So we're waiting to hear back from them as well.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say it's the Detweiler Foundation.
Mm-hmm.
So we are staying the course, not getting discouraged, but we are making plenty of headway and working it, but also trying to work using Grant Suite to help other businesses that are nonprofits and don't have any grant writers.
Okay. All right. All right. That's good. And some people don't know that if you wanted to help other nonprofits, the grant suite that you currently have, you can use it to help an unlimited amount of other agencies. You just have to create a profile. And if you wanted to do it as a business, of course you could do that. All right. I am going to be going over. I was just talking to Derek and his team. They were suggesting that I go over some basics of nonprofits and even smaller grants. So you all will see online where I do it'll probably be like a boot camp, and it'll be free and open to everybody. But I just wanted to go over the basics so that people can kind of be set up and be ready, and then we build up after that. But congratulations, Alice Marie. It was great to be at your partners meeting. Did you want to share anything about that with everybody?
Absolutely. Had a great partners meeting with Coach, and a lot of ideas, and they are sending in their support letters, which were due yesterday. You gave them the deadline of yesterday. And so we're going to get those in and get that uploaded so that we can have those. But some great ideas coming forth, and just looking forward to what we're going to do later this year and into next year.
Yep. All right. That's good. That's good. And she had folks on her partners meeting from other parts of the country that were helping her program. So that was good. Good. All right. Any other questions or progress?
I have a progress.
Mm-hmm.
I have a few, if you don't mind.
Oh, no problem.
First, I made it to the second round of the YMCA to be on their board of advisor. So I
Right.
have an interview coming up in the next week or so. And if I pass that, meet with the director.
All
So
right.
that's one thing. Yesterday I had an event, and one of the parents was talking to my wife, and she is part of a community outreach with one of the utility companies.
Mm-hmm.
And then she's asked what we wanted. And we're like, well, we need donations, sponsorship. We said, well, that's not a problem. Let's set up a meeting. I know people who have money. We definitely got money trying to give away. And are you open to going to different areas? So that was a blessing because we wasn't even looking for it. It just so happened. It just
Mm-hmm.
came out of nowhere.
And she's part of the community outreach of the utility department.
Yeah, utility company gave her business
Utility,
card.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
Yep.
she got contact with other utility companies, and she said, are you open to going to different areas in the state? I was like, we open to anything. Lost the money,
Mhm.
we go anywhere. So that was definitely good. That was some of the advice that you took. Just be ready. If someone asks what you want, to be ready to let them know, and don't be afraid.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
And then last, I just got selected to be on a grant committee board for Mildred Dream Foundation. They're out in Massachusetts. So I'm on a grant writing committee.
Mm-hmm.
So I had a meeting
The
with the
grant writing committee or the grant review committee?
grant review.
Mm-hmm. All
So that
right.
was a good
Good.
call. And the deadline for the application is August 15th.
All right. Is it just for organizations in Massachusetts
So
area?
they're looking for world nationwide. They really want to expand.
Y'all hear that? Now listen, y'all. When I hear stuff like that, I automatically go to their website. It sounds like he said the Mildred Foundation. Is that what you said?
The Mildred Dream Foundation, yes.
Mildred Dream Foundation. Let me tell you what you're supposed to do when something like that happens. Yeah, well, I'm gonna show you what you're supposed to do, actually. All right. Do y'all see my computer? Can y'all see my screen?
Huh?
So,
Can y'all see my screen?
yes,
Yeah,
sir.
He just
Mike,
said that he's on the grant
I might
review.
just have to because I'm hungry. Mildred.
He's on the grant review committee for the Mildred Dream Foundation, and they have a grant coming up. Here it is. Y'all see it?
Yes.
Eligibility. A nonprofit. Provide direct service, programming, and or advocacy and coalition work for the community of one of the focus areas listed above. So let's look at the focus areas. Education, with a focus on access, diversity, and stuff. Domestic violence, or physical and mental health. The grant deadline is August 15th. Now, they might tell you, here are their grant deadlines, their grant guidelines. Organizations are required to submit a budget sheet and a copy of the organization's 501c3. Now, the thing that I want to know is
Is it
what
specific to that area?
no, it's
Okay.
all over.
Yeah, they want to expand out of Boston. They're looking all across the USA. So they're open to, but the main thing they did, they said they want a like small nonprofit who can really benefit and something that's creative and innovative. So that was something they're looking for. And
Y'all
also
see
the
this?
website, they have like the questions that they have for the proposal on there.
Where are the questions at?
Just keep scrolling right there. Number two.
This-
Number two. Yep.
Oh, that's even better.
Mm.
Let me see if I can put this in Grant Suite.
Yes, please do put that in Grant Suite for us.
Absolutely.
Oh Lord, there's a lot of questions.
That is.
Oh Jesus.
Maybe they won't be going to Grant Suite for this year.
Hold on. They got 50 questions. I have never, ever,
I
hold
think
on.
it's just broken out like that, Coach, but I think these are already questions that you answer in Grant Suite. So it's just a
They
matter
are.
of putting it in these specific forms.
You know what? I think I know what it is. They just want one sentence per question. Matter of fact, this is a good question. I don't want all of y'all to call and ask them. And you cannot because you're on the grant review committee, so you can't tell us anything. That'll mess up your that'll be a conflict of interest for you. Okay. So you did what you could by telling us about it, but you can't tell us any details. And we never know who's here, and we don't want nobody to say that you gave anybody an unfair advantage. You get what I'm saying?
Yes, I agree.
All right. So y'all appreciate him for telling us about it. But don't ask him no secrets because that'll mess up the connection. As a matter of fact, y'all, when like people in the grant world, everything is public information, but everybody doesn't know everything. And whenever you have a connection and somebody gives you inside information, of course you want to appreciate it, but you got to know how to treat things confidential and not ask them to cross the line for you. Okay? Make sense, y'all?
Yes, sir.
All right. So it looks like they just want one sentence. Is your organization designated 501c3? So the answer is yes. All responses must be put into the actual application form. Feel free to use this document to draft responses to each question as needed. All right. Does your organization support one or more of the community? Answer is yes. Organization name. Okay. All right. This is fine. I get it. That's 10 questions right there. Phone number.
How much are they giving?
Between 5,000 and 10,000 is the normal amount.
But they are willing to go up to 25 if it's really something they behind and believe.
Mm-hmm. Yep. The organization applied for a grant from Mildred Stream Foundation. All right. So the next thing that I do, y'all, this is what I do all the time behind the scenes. This gives me the inside track. I want to find their history of giving. And in order for me to find their history of giving,
It had a past grantees menu item. I don't know if you saw that or if that's what you
I did
want.
not see it. That's what I'm looking for. Where is it?
Go back up, I think it was under ways to give. No, right there at the very bottom, who we support, and at the bottom.
Yeah. So I'm looking for education, a school on wheels, child support services. All right. So here you're able to see the places that they gave and the types of money that they gave. And that way you can make an informed decision. All right. No, they didn't say how much they gave to them. I want to know how much they gave.
So you're gonna go look up their 990?
Yep. Janae, can you get their EIN for me?
Yes, sir. I want it.
They didn't put it out there. Where is it? Oh, there we go. All right, here we go. Let's see how much money they have. That's good. Say we're a couple 100,000 each year. Okay. All their staff is part-time. And Janae, type their EIN into the chat box for me. I know it's up here, but I didn't look at it.
No problem. And I just found it on the tool. It's Mildred's without the apostrophe.
Well, the apostrophe.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. 5,000, 5,000. Oh, no. I can't see their grants. All right. All right. These are the people that gave to them. So this person, Sullivan and Sullivan, gave them $25,000. Now, if I was in the California area, I would mail a donation letter to these people. You get what I'm saying? They gave 25,000. So that means they give. All right. And this 990 is abbreviated. It's not the whole thing. Because I don't see their grants they gave out. I'm gonna look one more time.
Would that be under the statement of functional expenses?
It should be an attachment that just lists all of the grants they gave out. Statement of functional expenses normally includes how they pay their staff. But foundation normally have a whole attachment for grant activity. Do you see it on the tool?
I'm looking at their Form 990 from 2021, and under their statement of functional expenses part, it says that grants and other assistance to domestic organizations and domestic governments totaled 62,500. But I don't see a list of how that.
And list all of them out?
I can't find it.
I don't see the list either. And you're looking on the tool?
I'm looking at the Form 990 that the tool had.
Okay.
It was under part 4 on this 990, and it's called supporting organization. But the tool doesn't have the year that you're looking at. It stops at 2021.
Let me take a look. It looked like they got around listing how much they gave to each entity. So in this instance, ask for what you want. Like you said, if it's a worthwhile purpose and you can make good use of the 25,000, ask for it. But their normal gift is between 5 and 10,000. So just don't be shocked or surprised, and definitely don't be ungrateful if you're only awarded 5 to 10,000. And anytime that a organization has this little information out, that means that they are very flexible. So they can't break any laws, but it means that they really can do a lot, almost whatever they want to do. This is why I should not start researching, because I get caught up. All right. So normally, when you see it, oh, Jesus. Normally, when you pull up organizations 990, you can see who they gave to and how much they gave. Like this foundation has 119 million. And they outline how much they gave. And they tell you what for. So when you're filling out this application, you're able to see what they gave and how much. So here they didn't name the companies, they just listed the EIN, 501c3, and the amount 11,000, 56,000, 11,000, 5,000, etc. So I can tell that they will give between 5 and 11,000. They have some outliers of 20,000, but that 5 to 11 is pretty standard. So if I were writing to them, I would keep it in that range. I'd probably ask for 15,000. But that's that. All right. Well, thank you. I don't want to get too caught up in that application because I've been unfilled it out before we left. But let's go on. Any other questions or progress you wanted to share?
I got some
Go
progress,
ahead.
Coach.
All
I'm
right,
sorry.
Tanya.
Hey, Coach. Hey, good afternoon, everyone.
Hey.
Well, my progress is my event is over. Thank God.
It's like
It is
having a
over.
baby.
Yes. So it definitely was twice as big as last year. Everybody else has been posting, pictures and videos. I'm gonna get mans up on my page today. We definitely made new contacts, new donors. We got the Habitat for Humanity grant, which was their max they give out is $5,000 for community events. And we literally got that at the last minute, the day before.
Wow.
And so what they said was, of course, they do the 80-20. So 80% they give, and then 20% after we submit. They only want 4 pictures and some receipts.
See what I'm saying?
Exactly. A lot of things were donated though. The city of Chicago with all the chairs and the stages and the music with, the DJ, they did that off the strength of, me and what I do at the school, because I normally hire them at the school. But I also made a lot of connections there. People were, asking who did this, and the volunteers would send them in my direction, introducing me to them. And then I guess this is the funny thing, the state representative, he had gotten on my bad side, Justin, because I felt like he was using the veterans as a
prop.
exactly. And so then when it was the campaign time and the people call your phone talking about vote for, I said, I ain't voting for him. And then a lady, got in deeper. So he called my phone and I sent him the voicemail because I already had his phone number. And he caught up with me at Christmas in July. He was like, can you please talk to me? I got some money, the Black Caucus, and he started explaining himself. I said, I see. I think about calling you. So now I am going to give him a call because he sees, how big it is. Our next event, a lot of people want to go in with us for our next big event is the veterans service event that we're going to do with the Discover Center here in Chicago, as well as our Keep 'em Warm drive. And then my last cohort that I'm going to do for Evolve cohorts for children, young teens between 16 and 24 who want to develop a small business and have their product and service up by time Black Friday comes.
All
So
right.
yeah, and then getting ready for this Giving Tuesday, because it's going to be 100% better than it was last year.
It is. Girl, I'm so proud of you. And the thing is, when I went to the Christmas in July with you, I really thought it's what you do every year. I did not know that it was just your first year doing it.
Yes, last year was my first year because I was scared, and that's why you gave me the confidence, like just do it. Because when you do it, then you were saying earlier about just that simple email. So one night in the middle of the night, I want to say last month, it was just, people do stuff at the last minute, unfortunately. And I hate that because I'm such a planner. But people, turn out at the last minute. And I just started using, Chat GPT, putting in websites, look on this website for the community development person, email, whatever. And it was giving me, I think I did 75 businesses at that time. And out of the 75, 7 did respond. And they responded. Some of them said, unfortunately, we already booked for that day. But I also got a lot of responses where donation boxes ended up on my doorstep.
Yep.
Of stuff that they were donating. So just put it out there. Just go out there.
Yep.
Once you start doing it, you'll get used to it.
This stuff works. It really, really does work. You just have to stay at it. And whoever didn't give, this year, maybe they had already allocated their budget. Maybe they didn't have time to such and such. That's fine. They can put them right on the next event, or let them give right now and plan for next year.
Absolutely.
There's always the next one.
Yeah, we're gonna start planning in October for next year because we plan on doing the west side of Chicago next year.
All right. I want you to check on that the neighborhood grant. The city allocated that 5.5 million, but normally it only lasts for a year whenever they do allocations like that.
So I did look into that, and the person that was in charge on that website, they didn't have a phone number, but I sent them an email and they never responded.
Okay.
But I'm gonna be looking for it next year. And I looked through that list you sent me also.
All right. And on your website and in your update, so you should do a newsletter that names all your sponsors, especially their logos, and send out a press release that says, we're so happy we got awarded the Habitat for Humanity grant. Make sure you send it to the Community Foundation and all of the other donors, because money follows money. And if you're using ChatGPT, just tell ChatGPT to write you a press release announcing the Habitat for Humanity grant and discussing the Christmas in July and Why We Care Foundation. And then you send it out to your whole email list and the media. Make sure the media and all the foundations know.
Will do.
Okay. All right. Diane?
Yes, thank you. Coach, you have said this before. I wrote it in my notes and I can't find it. Our board meeting is tonight, and you said that the board, if you put money out of pocket and the agency is supposed to pay you back, I needed to do a resolution with the board, and they had to agree to it and sign it, and it needed to be in the minutes. But you named it, you called it something, and I can't remember what it was called.
It is a board resolution.
To pay back, I know it's a board resolution, Oh, it's just a board resolution and they just make the motion to do it? Oh, okay.
Yes, yes,
I know
yes.
a board resolution. Okay.
Yep. And so it's just that simple statement, resolved, the board voted to pay such and such, pay the loan of such and such back.
Oh,
When,
okay. That's easy enough. Thank you.
yep. All right. All right. Any other questions?
Hey, Coach, it's Janae. I have one more question.
Uh-huh.
So I have a potential client. It'll be my first, well, I don't count my church as my client, but a first grant client, and it's a church in Philadelphia, and they have a annex building that is a historical site that has not been in use, but they want to get it back up and running. And of course, I'm still talking to them, but like, where do I even start to help
Is
them
it
find grants for everything for that building?
for the build? Is the building useful right now, or does it need to be renovated to use it?
And it needs to be renovated the way that she's talking. It needs a new roof. They need help with everything to get it back up and running.
But it can or cannot be used right now.
That I'm not sure of. The way she was talking, it cannot.
Okay. If it cannot be used right now, then that is a capital campaign.
Okay.
You can contact the City of Philadelphia and Philadelphia County to ask about preservation funds. In order for it to be considered for those, a lot of times it has to be at least 50 years old.
Okay.
All right, the building itself has to be 50 years old. That's a capital campaign. Capital campaigns is for renovation, purchasing, buy-in, all of that stuff. Capital campaigns can last from 1 to 2 years, but you will follow all of the rules for a capital campaign in order to get that covered and totally done without costing them any money except to pay you.
Okay.
And normally, I would charge $50,000 for a capital campaign. I imagine a building that needs to be totally done, it might end up being a total of $1 million. And it's so much easier for them to pay you 50,000 than to pay $1 million.
Okay. Got it. Thank you.
Yep. All right. All right. And when you're looking at that building, or when you're looking at the church and you list out all of their outreach programs, you want to think about this annex being the home to all of the outreach work. And it's really good when you can do arts and culture. It's also good when you can include history of that neighborhood, the Black history. There's this thing called creative placemaking, where they actually, the art community honors graffiti. And I know I'm from Philadelphia. And so there's a lot of graffiti in Philadelphia, and the art community has begun to respect graffiti as an artful expression called creative placemaking. And so you want to reach out to Kresge Foundation to see if they would be interested, in addition to the other foundations. Definitely look at the community foundation up there. But you're gonna be going into it. You'll be looking at a capital campaign to renovate the building. When you look for program related grants, each grant needs to allow for equipment purchase. You don't necessarily need the grants for supplies as much as you need it for the equipment. Equipment is the larger items. So if they want a commercial kitchen in there to teach culinary, if they want a music studio in there to teach music and arts, if they want a multi-purpose room in there to have community gatherings, you have to think, what are the things that they're doing right now as a community outreach that that could be done in this annex as a community outreach center? Does that make sense?
Yes, sir, it does. I know she mentioned the first thing they want to do is get the roof fixed.
Well, if the building is not useful, it's not going to make any sense to get the roof fixed. unless getting the roof fixed makes the building useful. You can do it. But if it's just we want a roof, that's why I asked the question, is the building usable or is it not? If it's not usable only because the roof, then the roof is all you need plus the equipment. But when organizations give out money for capital campaigns, they want the whole thing to look nice. And so they are not going to be willing to give money for a roof if the rest of it doesn't look nice.
Okay, makes sense.
Yeah. So
Thank
you want to show the full vision of what they want to do in the center and let that be the capital campaign, even if you do it in phases.
Okay.
All right, y'all. I have time for one more question.
I don't have a question, but we have the phase 1 ribbon cutting tomorrow.
All right. All righty. Yeah, I love this kind of foolishness. I love it. How far are y'all from Wilmington?
2 hours.
Oh, Jesus. Look, North Carolina is so big. You know, there's some people that when I tell them I'm in North Carolina, they're like, oh, well, such and such, and they talk about Raleigh and Cary. I'm like, man, that's 4 hours from me. And Wilmington is 6 hours from where I live in North Carolina. And that's not even it. You got all kind of little towns along the way. I was actually looking for a beach house down there. I didn't want to live in Wilmington, but I wanted to live in like a coastal town that had a beach house. But I couldn't find one that I liked, so we'll see. Now I'm looking for a warehouse with a freight elevator. And it don't have to be big because all the kids are gone. It's just me and my wife and my 13-year-old. So we can find a place for us, then the other kids can go somewhere else. But that's one of the types of houses I want. We have a country house. We have a suburb house. But we're looking for a beach house, but now I want a condo. All right, y'all. Well, that's it for today. If any of you are coming to Wilmington, make sure you message me. I'll be glad to see you all there. The next challenge that I'm going to have, well, the next paid challenge will be showing people how to get a building. That's going over capital campaigns. These are grants for real estate, all types of real estate, houses, buildings, offices, blah, blah, blah. And be looking online for whenever I go over the basics of nonprofit setup. And you can invite all the other people that were interested. All right. All right. Those Powerpages people, remember, we do not submit the applications for you. You have to do them for yourself. So make sure you submit them. If you have questions, do reach out. I think that's it, Mark. Am I forgetting anything? Let me look real quick. All right. I think that's it. If anybody was interested in Powerpages, especially because we finished this batch, Powerpages is where we do your 12 months of grants for you. If anybody was interested, you reach out to us. You have to direct message me so we can review it. That's Powerpages. All right. Well, y'all have a good evening, good afternoon, good day. Love y'all. Take care. Bye-bye. And I'm doing Bible class tonight. If anybody wants to come, I'll be announcing it online. It's on a Zoom link at 6 o'clock.
That's my board meeting. Got to get it in July.
All right. Got to get it in.
Got to get it in.
All right. Bye-bye, y'all.
Thanks.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.